Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Welcome back. Sadhu. I would like to introduce you to our next dialogue session, which is creating gratitude practice through meditation dialogue from a Buddhist perspective. Thank you, Sister Jess. Now I'd like to introduce to our esteemed panel. Uncle Vijaya is a respected figure within the Buddhist communities, delivering countless of inspiring Dhamma talks at universities, schools, Dhamma centers throughout Malaysia, as well as Singapore and Australia, spanning over 60 decades. I think quite a few of us here were not born yet. In addition to his speaking engagements, he held the role of patron at the Sasana Abhivruddhi Vardhana Society in Kuala Lumpur, and serves as the chairman of Nalanda Institute's education team. He represented Malaysia in various Buddhist conventions and conferences, both locally and internationally. He authored over a dozen booklets, which I'm quite sure you've seen or read before, with more than 150,000 copies distributed worldwide. Before his retirement, he held the position of a senior lecturer at University Technology Malaysia, UTM, and worked as a lecturer in drama and theatre, public speaking, and world religion at Taylor's University's American degree program. And of course, our esteemed Bhante Dr Chandima. Let's welcome them with open hearts. Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Sister Morita, for this very kind introduction. I feel very, very honored to be sitting here today because this is the third time I had the honor to sit down with Bhante to talk about various matters regarding Buddhism. The first time I was very embarrassed because the organizers made it in such a way that Bhante asked the questions and I did the answering. That looked as if I was teaching him what to do, and I objected to that. And then the next time round here, we had the occasion where I did the questions and Bhante did the answering, and everybody benefited a lot from that. So I hope that today we can do our third round, and I hope that it will be well received by all of you. I'm very impressed by the large number of people who are here. Congratulations, and you're taking your Buddhist practice seriously. Today is also particularly significant for me because in the afternoon there was a dana for our late Sister Bodhi. And late Sister Bodhi had, it's significant because it was out of a sense of gratitude that the Sasana Abhivruddhi Vardhana Society, Brickfields Temple, decided to give a dana in memory of her. And she richly deserves the thank you that Sasana can give, because for 40 years, I myself was a beneficiary. In those days, I couldn't type. There were no computers that time, all right? But Sister Bodhi was the typist. She would patiently go through my horrible handwriting and then over and over in all my books, all Chief Reverend's books, everything that was there, good-heartedly, Sister Bodhi. So out of gratitude, there's no other way that we can thank her, and we had this dana, and it is significant in that it is in that spirit that today we are meeting with Bhante again to explain the significance of gratitude. What role does gratitude play in the life of a Buddhist? For that, I would like to begin by sort of slightly veering off the main topic and ask Bhante, pose this question to Bhante. Bhante, in the journeys that I have made to various places to give talks on Buddhism, invariably I meet people who ask me, Uncle Vijaya, this Buddhism is so difficult. Why is Buddhism so difficult? Not only is it difficult, when you meet a Buddhist, he only talks about suffering. You know, when you go to otherwhere, they're all so happy, they're all jumping for joy, and we are told that we must suffer, otherwise we are not happy. Is that true? I mean, is it really true that, is this the impression, one, partly Dhamma speakers must have given, that Buddhism is a difficult religion to follow? Or is it? Is that what the Buddha had intended? Have we got a wrong understanding of Buddhism? And if we have, what is it that Buddhism is good for? Bhante?
Thank you, Uncle Vijay, for the questions. Before I answer this question, as you understand, we started a dialogue series under the Buddhist Maha Vihara last year. We actually started by interviewing a couple of people. The first one to interview was Bhante Dr Mahinda from UK. He was an emeritus professor for Bath Spa University. And then the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and today is the seventh dialogue series session. So very thankful to have you here as a part of the retreat here.
Thank you.
Right. To begin that question, answering that question, as you understand, the problem with that understanding about suffering is a wrong translation. It's a poor translation. That's the first thing. As you know, the Buddha's teachings were first translated by Europeans in late 18th century and throughout the 19th century, because they have come to some Asian countries like Sri Lanka and other countries. And those officials translated Buddha's teachings on a par with biblical teachings.
Yes.
So what they used initially was suffering for the Pali word dukkha. But if you look at the Pali word dukkha, it is not necessarily suffering. It has a meaning like a minor frustration. I think we all have minor frustrations all the time. Even today, we got a rain. We may have minor frustration. Just because of that, we cannot paint everything with the same brush, saying that's suffering. But another higher level of the meaning of dukkha could be suffering. So I think the problem is the way how people with that misunderstanding are to spread Buddhism with that misunderstood version of Buddhism. So we have to understand the correct meaning, rich translations of the Pali canon, and then to do it. And Buddha never talks about saying like life is suffering. Life is full of dukkhas, but shifting those dukkhas can make us happy. And Nibbana is the highest happiness. He talks about happiness. So I think the problem is the way how these teachings have been delivering to other people. There is a problem. So we have to educate those people the correct way to present the Buddha's teachings.
Thank you, Bhante. In line with that, two venerables that I can think of, Venerable Ajahn Brahms and Thich Nhat Hanh, they said that this misunderstanding could have arisen because of the way the Four Noble Truths are presented. Suffering, cause of suffering, end of suffering, and the way. All right? So that we put the negative first. So when these monks were spreading Buddhism, they emphasized the first two. Said that is wrong. What we should do is emphasize the second two. Start off by saying that there is nirvana, there is happiness, there is all of these. And then by the way, there is suffering. So if our packaging is wrong, would you agree that the Buddha, in effect, we are saying that the Buddha was wrong by saying suffering first? What's your comment to that?
I think a better way to translate the Four Noble Truths is not going by suffering, because the Pali word dukkha has also the minor frustrations.
Yeah.
So it's a broad spectrum. So better to translate as the noble truth on dissatisfaction or unsatisfactoriness. And dukkha ranges between the minor major versions of annoyances. So we cannot translate
The
this to
whole
be
range of
the whole range. Why do we pick the
irritations.
highest version
Yes.
into translation? So we take the unsatisfactoriness. There could be a minor unsatisfactoriness or maybe a major kind of unsatisfactoriness. So the noble truth on dissatisfaction or unsatisfactoriness. The noble truth on the cause of unsatisfactoriness.
Yeah.
The noble truth on the cessation of unsatisfactoriness. The noble truth on the path which leads to the cessation of the unsatisfactory. So that way, I think we minimize all these hanky-panky stuff.
Yes. It's a presentation that we need to look at and see how we can convince people that Buddhism is actually a very easy religion to follow. It's very easy. Ehi passiko. Can see for yourself. Have any comment on that, Bhante? That we don't need to have too much of understanding or intellectual understanding of Buddhism. I think the heart needs to be engaged more than the head. What's your comment on that?
Yeah, very true. But some have already complicated this with translations.
Yes.
So we have to sort of decomplicate these issues. That's one thing. I think Buddhism is given in one very famous stanza. Sabba papassa akarana, kusalassa upasampada, sachitta pariyodapana, etam buddhana sasana. Not doing any akusala, to do all the kusalas, purifying one's thoughts. This is the advice of all the Buddhas.
And
from Tanankara Buddha to Gautama Buddha, or maybe many more Buddhas.
Yeah.
So why are we going to complicate this by saying unnecessary things? So this is Buddhism. So I think everybody can think about, I have to work on doing kusala.
Do good, avoid evil, purify the mind. So you got that? That was by way of sort of introduction to sort of convince ourselves that Buddhism is really an easy religion to follow if you have the right attitude and you have the right guidance. Okay? That will bring me to the next question. Bhante, how would you define the word gratitude? Bearing in mind the problem we have, English translation. There's a language thing. And what is gratitude in the Pali? What is that? And how does it translate into everyday practice? Something that we can understand and something we can practice and something we can benefit from. All of this, what is your definition of gratitude?
Okay, so the Pali word for gratitude is katanyuta. Katanyuta. I think I already wrote it in the morning for them. It's not anymore there. Kata means that someone else has been helped out by somebody else. So the person who has been helped out understands that I have been helped out. So kata means those good activities, the help that he or she got. Nyuta means knowing. Knowing of the good things that the other person has done towards oneself. Katanyuta. This can go in many ways. Let's say a lot of people, they think about all the bad things other people have done to them. Mean stuff. Akusala stuff. Because you've been doing this, I have to be ungrateful towards you. I'm not going to be grateful to you any longer. So we take from Buddhist perspective to understand the different aspects of the help that we received from other people. So that is very imperative, very essential for us to grow in our Dhamma practice. Without gratitude, no meditation is going to work. No sila is going to work. No patience or whatever, etc., Dhamma activities going to work. So by fully understanding, sometimes we don't understand other people's help right away. It takes time to have that maturity. Oh, that time I had no way to go and this person approached me and he went out of his or her way to help me out. And he took an extra mile to help me. help other people. So going to fully understand different aspects of that help, and then to be fully grateful, thankful to that activity. Now Buddha says in one sutta, Sigalovada Sutta, when a friend is going to help you, you're going to help in turn by quadrupling, doubling, tripling that help. Maybe that time he gave a small thing, but now I understand the importance of that small thing that double, triple, quadruple my life. So you're going to help back, not in the same way, not for tit for tat, but you are going to help in multiple ways. You are still thinking, reflecting. So this kind of attitude is very, very essential in helping us to grow in our Dhamma practice.
So in order to be gratitude, we need to know what good has been done to us.
Yeah, I think it's necessary. Otherwise, we are going
and
to be...
to do that, we need to do our own homework. We can't just sit there and expect things to happen.
So being able to understand what the other person did was very difficult for many people.
Yeah.
That's the problem of...
The onus is on us.
Yeah, that's the problem of many people, of them being ungrateful. They don't understand the weight of that help.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they need a certain skill to understand as well.
Right. Later when we talk about mothers, maybe we'll come back to this. Parents and mothers and children, their relationship, right? But that's a bit later. All right? For now, I think it's tied up with what we just said. Why are people ungrateful? Starting with anybody who goes to vote for the government.
The harsh truth behind most people can be ungrateful is that we are by default self-centered. So we are hardwired in that self-centeredness. It is me, I, me, myself. This is what we have to deconstruct in becoming a Sotapanna, Sakkaya Ditthi. So as a part of that issue, we are normally not acknowledging others unless we have a very good practice, unless we don't know things that we've been discussing today, tomorrow. So we are, in other words, by default ungrateful.
Yeah,
because if we don't know how to understand what's going on, because people think other people should come and help us, right?
Yeah.
So other people should help us in becoming better people in our life. So primarily, it is our nature. Second, there are people with other small minor events, they are defending that we don't have to be grateful to others because their life, especially their mental states, have come to a certain mess. They have messed up in their spiritual life, in emotional, mental life, so that they don't think that they have to be grateful to other people. So there are two ways to look at
their sense of entitlement.
Entitlements. Maybe they are
you
sannyas.
Owe this to me.
They are sannyas. Their past memories with other people have held them on to a certain state that I'm not going to unpack these things. I'm going to hold on to these things till I die. Maybe next life too. I'm going to be ungrateful to you as well. So it is because they are not able to handle what's going on in their life. So there are two ways to look at it. One is we are naturally by default ungrateful. We all have to learn and how to overcome that. We've been overcoming day by day as we learn, as we practice. Second is that there are people who cannot handle their emotions. They are sannyas, they are past, they are present. Also now future is tied up with the past and now also. So they need some guidance. But unfortunately, they are not opening up for that guidance as well. So
that's the important thing.
Yeah.
That's the key. We lock ourselves up. We are so tight inside. I think part of the reason we have retreats and all of that is to break that hard shell, that ego shell that you are talking about.
Yeah. When somebody is to advise, they chase them away. I don't need your advices. So I'm myself, I'm good. Yeah.
Ego.
Yeah.
So we need that
True.
humility. That doesn't come from outside. That has to come from within.
Yes, we have to humbleize us. So that being humble, humility is the key to understand gratitude too.
Okay. Tied up with that gratitude. Is gratitude a necessary part of our spiritual life? There's so many emotions that we need to handle. Yeah? metta, karuna, upeka, mudita, all of this we need to develop. But how important, how necessary is gratitude for leading a spiritual life? Did the Buddha practice gratitude as our chief example? Right? Question.
Yeah, great. I'm going to answer this question very easily. Gratitude is the blueprint of our Dhamma practice. It's the blueprint, framework.
It's that important,
so
that's central.
Yeah, so we are laying out our spiritual practice on that.
On the, please go deeper, because this is very profound. Honestly, I thought that gratitude practice is on the periphery of the spiritual life. I mean, you can get by without gratitude. There's so many other things to worry about, like forgiveness and all of that. All right? But here comes Bhante and says, it's the blueprint. That means it is that on which our entire spiritual life is based. Is that
yeah, very true. Very true.
Does the Buddha have any sutras where he emphasizes specifically?
There are many sutras about it, and also his life. Now, if you let me take this in a different angle.
Yeah.
If you go to the West, you know that Indian, Hindu, probably Asian practices have been practiced in there. One good example is yoga. If you go to the yoga class in the West, they strip out the Indian yoga and they make that their customized yoga version. This is the what you call Patanjali's yoga, you know. This is the true yoga, but they strip out the Indian, the true yoga version. And if you go to the same region, talk about Buddhism, if you are a Buddhist, you must be mindful.
Yeah.
Not actually, we are supposed to be mindful. You must practice meditation. Those of them who don't have a daily practice, they are not Buddhists, right? So things have been taken in different ways. So what we understand in the text, in the suttas, is that the Buddha says in many places, gratitude has to be our framework in practicing the secondary Dhamma concepts. Say, for instance, appamada, diligence. He used another example. The sutta is what you call appamada sutta in Anguttara Nikaya. He says, look at the footprints of different animals in the forest. What do you think about? Can all the footprints of other animals be fitted onto the footprint of an elephant? Not a normal elephant, Chaddanta elephant. Yeah. Yes, it is. Then it is like appamada is the main quality that all the other
mindfulness,
other small minor qualities can be fitted onto. So this appamada is going to be laid out on this gratitude framework, blueprint. Why we have to be punctual in our Dhamma practice is appamada. So that comes from an urge, we call it Sangvega, urge propelled by the gratitude. Now there are people who might take mindfulness as a standalone practice, separate practice. Saddha as a separate practice. Sila as a separate practice. Puja, Buddha Puja, Bodhi Puja as a separate practice. But they are not, you can't separate them out. They are all attached to one practice. Yeah. So gratitude is that main practice. With the support of gratitude, you can practice the Noble Eightfold Path. Because the main example is trusting about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. You must have an unwavering trust about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. I think we all have that trust, Buddha, Dhamma, but not about the Sangha sometimes. People have some wavering heart. This is not a good temple, not a good monastery. This is my vihara, that is your vihara. So people kind of like not understanding Sangha from the Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahat level. So that's why gratitude helps you to understand this larger, bigger picture of our spiritual journey. It helps us to lay out our Dhamma journey supported by appamada. So it's very essential. I would say not very. It is the most essential. Central, very centric Dhamma
like
teaching.
the image of.
Yeah, that's why the Buddha, once he became the Buddha, he spent the whole second week by looking at the Bodhi tree, Asatta Bodhi tree, without blinking. Yeah. For some, it might be a crazy activity. But the idea is that I have to be grateful for the Bodhi tree. So my followers should understand your spiritual journey begins from gratitude.
Yeah, I think also still tied up. Sounds like a silly question, but can good people exist without gratitude? I mean, can you be not grateful and still be a good guy? Or going to a Buddhist heaven kind of thing?
I think people are differently grateful.
People are different.
In my understanding, people are differently good. No person has to be similarly good compared to the other person. They are differently good. The problem is we don't notice our version of gratitude in those people. That's what I think.
Okay.
So I think a good person cannot exist without gratitude.
Yeah.
The problem is us, because we don't know how to understand their version of gratitude. Maybe it might not be Buddhist in the first place. I think gratitude is not only coming from Buddhist idea. It's a very widespread idea. So
it's a human.
As a human, yes. Even animals. If you give some food to a dog, and dog is wagging the tail and coming to you, expecting you cat me, right? And so I think it's a universal thing. But as a Buddhist, we are going to bring this to the higher level of that practice.
And has gratitude a very close link to non-ego? The practice of gratitude.
Yes. When you practice gratitude in your daily life, it helps you to reduce your ego. Because ego means self-centeredness. You can't be having self-centeredness that much when you have to be grateful to others. You have to acknowledge, accept other people. That means a kind of altruism is coming up on the other side. You are not going to bring up a lot of self-centered at that point.
So would you agree that the destruction of the ego is the sole aim of a Buddhist? My entire Buddhist practice is designed to destroy the ego. Would that be agreeable?
I take it from a Buddhist point of view, calling it Sakkaya Ditthi. Sakkaya Ditthi is the bare minimum attainment for every Buddhist. Bare minimum. Don't get ended up with the Saddhanusari, Dhammanusari levels. I normally say, what is Saddhanusari? What is Dhammanusari? Saddhanusari means pre-Sotapanna levels. Right? So, for a Buddhist, for a normal Buddhist, your bare minimum attainment in your spiritual journey is to become a Sotapanna. So, when you becoming a Sotapanna, the first thing you have to overcome is ego in your words, and ego means Sakkaya Ditthi. Because we give meaning to our 5 aggregates. We are in that labeling, defining, interpreting our 5 aggregates, we are bringing another very dangerous mental state called clinging, upadana. So when we bring upadana to the 5 aggregates, then we are creating Sakkaya Ditthi in 20 ways. That means there are 20 types of Sakkaya Ditthi. So Sakkaya Ditthi is ego. So if gratitude can help us de-escalate, decondition the structure of the what you call self-centeredness or what you call ego, then I think it's good.
Right.
So I think then gratitude really, it helps us to overcome Sakkaya Ditthi, or in your words, ego.
Right. And also, of course, this gratitude is self-evident. It's easy to practice because immediately you can see the results.
Yeah.
You see? And the first result that you see is the lowering of the ego, the strength of the ego. Do you agree with that?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Now we come to the one that I promised you earlier. How much time do we have? How I think of all the sutras that I've studied, whatever I've studied about Buddhism, I think there is a lot of emphasis on the relationship between parents and their children. I think the Buddha has spent a lot of time, a lot of sutras on the relationship with parents and children. Why is this so?
Because it is related to the Sammaditthi, right view, which is the first factor in the Noble Eightfold Path. If someone ignores the kind of the activities that one has to do towards mother and father, he or she cannot start the journey even. Even they cannot start the journey even itself. They are failing. That's why the Buddha said, we have to care our parents. It is not just a win-win situation. You might think mother, father did something for me, I had to give back. Going beyond that win-win situation, if somebody calls it, this is about Sammaditthi. So the Buddha said, initially, we all have to be grateful to mother and father, regardless of your minor, smaller issues with them, in dealing with them, because it helps us to understand our life, thanking to the life that they gave us, thanking to whatever other things that they did for us in the long run, in the past, and that helps us to navigate the rest of the 8 parts of the Sammaditthi. Because it is tied up with the Sammaditthi, Buddha places a high emphasis on specializing mother, father as a special person, as special people in our life.
Bhante, if you look at Chinese culture very broadly, Chinese culture, Indian culture, we can accept this. We can accept that children have a lot to do to be grateful to their parents. But in today's society, today's materialist society, we know from the television how much parents fail in their duties towards their children. The amount of suffering children undergo because of irresponsible parents, simply making children to begin with, in many, many countries, in Asia even, in Africa, and the irresponsible. And yet do we expect those children to be grateful to what we see is a gross?
I think that is mostly coming from the Western world. In the West, when we say you have to be grateful to your mother and father, there are issues. They cannot take it easily because there are a lot of single mothers, single fathers, a lot of issues in that part of the world. So when they do a gratitude meditation, they think about the water, air that they breathe in, food, those kind of stuff. Normally, we are not grateful to these things initially. So we start with mother and father. So I think it's a modern issue that is coming up. It's about parenting in the modern day. So there are different conditions that have brought up this issue. So if you cannot take care of a family, then you have to think about it. Think twice before you getting married, before you making children.
Yeah.
But on the other side, there should be a support system for the children to recover from the trauma that they are going through. So yeah, that is how we can think about. There's no one particular answer to the both sides. So parents can think about whether we know the parenting. Because most parents learn how to parent with the first child. They have no experience.
Yes.
Only when they have the first child, only they know what is going on with their child. Yeah. And on the other side, children. I mean, there are issues for parents to bring them up, raise them. At the same time, children also having hard time from them. So we have to look at individual cases to answer that kind of a question.
Yeah. What are the universal values? Doesn't matter what the situation, what the country, where the time. What universal values, would we say in Buddhism are necessary for a child to pay gratitude to its parents? One I can think of is a mother bearing the child for 9 months. That kind of thing. And a mother looking after the baby when it's helpless, and the father worrying about. These are universal values, which cut across. Can you sort of enumerate a few of those?
I think the most important thing, regardless of their connection issues, is giving birth to this world.
Yeah, but sometimes Do I thank you for that?
That's, yeah.
You know,
but
like my sister used to be very famous. She used to say, one mother can bring up 10 children, 10 children cannot bring up one mother. When she said that, one of her daughters turned around and said, Ma, I never asked to be born from you. What's the answer to that?
Sometimes we cannot rationalize specific things.
Yeah.
Rather, we understand what's going on. As you said, mother can take care of 10 children in the olden days.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they don't have that many kids. But why 10 children, 6 children cannot take care of the mother?
One mother.
Yeah, one mother or father. So there are issues. Different conditions have brought up different issues. Yeah. So I think in order for them to really work well, what they need on the both sides is Brahma Viharas. Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka. Universal necessary qualities. So parents have to give. A lot of children are not brought up with lots of love. Sometimes they were raised up with hatred.
Yes.
And they see
and
what
anger,
mother...
mostly anger, resentment.
They see how father talks to the mother, how mother talks to father. And they see what they are doing in the name of freedom in today's world. It's free world,
yeah.
YOLO. So the idea is that it starts with the parenting, because then they have to properly bring them onto a properly good emotional culture.
So this is where Buddhist education comes.
Buddhist education. Then you have to, parents have to give them a valid system that you are so valued. Not only we have a favorite kid in the house, right? Sometimes they try to cherry pick a certain kid in the house. The other one feel that I'm
Sibling
not that
rivalry.
much rivalry. So
Yeah.
I'm not felt that much loved by my parents.
Yeah.
So I think parents have the more responsibility to make that good thing, you know. If they lose that opportunity, then children will go haywire, and more problems will come. So they have to set up everything at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think nowadays, because of different conditions, I think the highly revolutionized world, technology, competitiveness, and then incompetency, both parents are working. Most of these identified, unidentified conditions have paved the way for children to have those issues. Yeah, so I think parents can think about, before they want to have kids, think about whether am I equipped, whether I have the necessary things to make a child.
Right.
Not just that you're going to make a child. Then you can minimize. Because Buddhism always goes back to the cause. Hetupala. Hetupala is the most important. Not that something happened, you learn from the result. We learn it. So parents can change this direction to make a household a very comfortable, happy place with their kids.
This was not necessarily needed in the past, when in Buddhist culture, the informal education, parents learned how to be parents as part of the culture. Today, I think this has to be artificially worked into an education system. And I think this is where our Sunday schools
they have to play a role, but I don't know whether they play the role, because they have to keep up with the society's dynamics.
And these dynamics are materialist.
Yes, I think Dhamma school can do a change, but the thing is that Dhamma school teachers have to understand how to approach students in today's world.
Yeah.
Not in that 70s, 80s, you must do this, you should not do this. Rather, bringing a do's and don'ts system. So, even in today's world, parents are the first teachers.
Oh yes.
How to eat, how to talk, how to say thank you, and all that. But
maybe Bhante, you want to explain that a bit more, the Brahma Viharas?
Yes.
And the in which way are parents the first gods? I think this is...
as you said earlier, parenting does not just mean that you making kids for whatever the purpose. Parenting means that you are trying to give them the best understanding of life before they go to a normal school, kindergarten or preschool. So you should be able to give them enough metta and teach them some karuna, how to empathize other people. Not that you do whatever they ask. right? Some parents think that they want to fulfill every request that they are making, and to feel some happiness when other kids are going to be happy, and some level of understanding about rejection. Not many parents teach children rejection. When today's children get rejected, they are very mad. They don't know what's going to happen after that. Right? Maybe rejection of the school, rejection of children, rejection from other things. They can't take it. Why can't we be not rejected? We will be rejected in our life all the time.
To learn
so we
to
have
take
to
the positive with the negative. Yeah.
We have to teach, if you are a parent, you must teach children an apparent version of rejection. In your life, children, you will reject. Take it as a point of resilience. You are going to bounce back into a better version of you. I think as long as they don't teach these things, I think the children will be having a lot of issues in the modern world. So parenting in the 21st century is an entire different thing than the past. But still, as you said, they are still the teachers, first teachers of children. The Buddha said, Brahmati mata pitaro ahuneyati bucchari. They are called Pubbacharya. That means
first teachers.
First teachers of children. So now what your mother, father taught you in late that many years could not be the ones that today's parents are supposed to teach.
Akalika.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it has to be relevant to today's change.
Very true. So they have to inculcate in the minds of children what gears, what important things that you have to learn before you go to a kindergarten.
Yeah.
But if that is not going to be successful, there will be a lot of issues. Even though they might do well in the classes, they might be doing well in their letter grades, the university, but then they might be doing well in universities, but their emotional structure is not that mature.
Yeah, many countries in the West, on one side they're doing very well.
Very well.
But in the emotional, spiritual side,
no, zero.
And we always blame the West, but we are going the way of the West.
This is the place where children are not going to be grateful towards their mother and father. That is the point, where they are not given the enough support system.
And exposure.
Yes, they might be ungrateful.
Bhante, you have traveled a lot, you have done a lot, you've been in many educational institutions. This is a personal question. What do you think is the success rate of us Theravada Buddhists in changing the world? That's a big word, changing the world. Harapannya besar lah.
I normally teach, when people ask what kind of Buddhism you are teaching, I normally say that I teach early Buddhism, where Buddhism didn't become a school yet. Right?
Didn't become an ism.
And at the same time, the Buddha's teachings became a school primarily after his passing away. And then it became Theravada Buddhism during the third Sanghayana, during the Asoka's time. So I normally teach them that you have to learn early Buddhism, because Theravada Buddhism sometimes is a very daunting word to some people. You guys are very conservative, not listening to others, not keeping up with the modern values. So it's a bit daunting in the West. So teaching early Buddhism, because Theravada is a school, Mahayana is a school. Why we pick up schools? There is original, authentic, undiluted Buddhism. So normally we say the first four Nikaya, Diga Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya, the four Nikayas of the Sutta Pitaka, they are considered as early Buddhism. So that is what
and it's more than enough. We don't need to be too clever.
People don't have time to practice too.
Right.
This many teachings. So I think it's better they focus on that kind of even that is also very taking that much time, you know. But if people start their Dhamma journey from Abhidhamma, Theravada version, that's not early Buddhism, Theravada version, then it could take them to another
realm from which they can't come, and we can't follow them.
Unending journey, because Abhidhamma is based on the early Buddhism. Yes.
Okay. I think I've come to the last of my questions, and we'll see, open it out. Right?
Sure.
How significant is gratitude in the process of ending samsara? How important, how necessary is gratitude in that highest aim that we have? We want to end samsara. What role does little gratitude play in this? Yeah, and how is it necessary to have gratitude in order to become a sotapanna or an arahant? Is it relevant even?
Let me answer your question by giving you a story which is mentioned in the Maha Parinibbana Sutta, Diga Nikaya.
Yeah.
Maha Parinibbana Sutta, you must have learned that sutta. Maha Parinibbana Sutta is our only living proof of the Buddha's passing away. In this sutta, when the Buddha announced that I would pass away within 3 months, then all the unenlightened monks were a little bit, not a little bit, they were kind of a little bit overwhelmed. At the same time, they were very sad, unenlightened ones. Enlightened monks or nuns, they were thinking about Sangvega, Dhamma Sangvega. They are not sad, but they know this is going to be a great loss. When these things are happening, there was a group of monks. Notice one particular monk is very indifferent to this proclamation that Buddha is going to pass away. He is just doing his own work. So they were not happy about him, unenlightened monks. So they reported to the Buddha, Bhante, that monk Dhammarama is not taking seriously about what you said. He's doing his own activities. So I think he's not following you. The Buddha knew what's going on. He said, okay, ask him to come. So he came in. Then the Buddha asked from him, what do you have to say about their saying? Then he said, Bhante, I know that you are going to pass away in 3 months. Then I thought the best way to be grateful to you, before you pass away is to become an arahant.
Yeah. To repay
before you
my
pass
debt,
away.
yeah.
Because you are with us. And I can approach you, I can ask questions from you. Then the Buddha said, sadhu, 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 he said. Then he further elaborated on that. He said, there are 2 types of devotees who are respecting me. One is doing amisa puja, who are bringing flowers, incense, all these. They are only doing that. And another kind of people, they are offering, they are doing the offering part, as well as they are trying very much in their endeavor to practice. So to my understanding, I have been spending billions, trillions of life, more than that, in my sansaric journey, not to get someone's flowers, not to get someone's joysticks. It's a very long, serious journey. I have been reborn and reborn. Even I've been sacrificing my own enlightenment as an arahant at the time of
This is a Buddha,
Dipankara
this is a
Buddha
Buddha speaking.
Yeah, Buddha speaking. Buddha speaking, yes. And then so I value the people who are having a certain offering practice, but more importantly, trying to put what I teach into their practice and attain Nibbana. So that answers this question. That means if you want to be grateful to me, practice what I said to you. So it's very important. So that means, that's why I'm always saying, Buddha is our motivation. When you wake up early in the morning, if I want to respect the Buddha, this is not enough, adequate. So I want to do my practice and try to, grow in my practice. So it's highly important in our practice. With the motivation of the Buddha, that means you are grateful to him. On this side, you are continuing your practice.
Yeah. The best way to practice is...
And to respect.
Respect, yes.
And be grateful.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. So I have run out of questions. And your time is right.
Maybe you can bring the mic to the middle of the crowd. Yeah, sit.
I think not necessarily about gratitude alone. Maybe there are some things that are bothering you. I'm sure Bhante would have.
Sister Monica, can you bring it to the middle of the aisle?
So they don't have to walk that far.
To the middle, yeah. There.
Sorry? Oh, you do the walking. No, it's okay. All right.
Okay, good.
Questions, please?
No one wants to start? I will start first. How about that?
Yeah,
One.
thank you.
Okay, please go ahead.
I've got a question. This is just a question that I have where I'm thinking I am grateful to to both my parents. But having said that, somebody, actually my mom, was the one who said, because anyone could be your parents eons and eons in previous lifetimes. It could be. So she said, why don't you treat everyone like your mom? Because I really, she tells me that I take care of her very much, or I love her very much. And everyone says, ooh, you take care of your mom very well. But when she said that, why don't you treat everyone like your mom and dad? I actually very frankly told her, I'm not at that stage yet. Because I can't treat everyone like my mom. There's still some obstacles or difficulty, because there's some people I just cannot treat them like my mom. If I could, I would. Is that okay to admit that while we do our own practices or cultivate our mind? Because, there's no way I can treat everyone like my mom. Not yet. Hopefully one day. But I just wanted to know, how do we go about it? Or is it okay to admit that it's not too egoistic or something like that? Thank you.
Are you going to answer that question? Interesting. So my understanding about that question is, these are speculations. Now, even in Mahayana, they say you have to be a vegetarian. What is their point in Lankavatara Sutra? In the Lankavatara Sutra, one of the 9 Mahayana books, they say, because the chicken you are having may be your mother in the past life. So how do you know that? This is a speculation. This does not mean you have to be a vegetarian or you have to eat meat or fish. So we only know what you call in our life that there is only one person, maybe the biological mother, maybe somebody who brought us, who took care of us. So our respect and gratitude normally arises only for that person. So it is not good to think that I have to keep everybody. Then what is the purpose of having a biological mother? Then let's say everybody is mother. Every lady can become a mother. So I think we should have a reference. Now say for instance, if the Buddha statue, if we don't have a Buddha statue to respect, how do we visualize the Buddha? It is a bit difficult, right? That's why the Buddha statue is there. But this Buddha statue is not, any Buddha statue cannot reflect the true Buddha, right? Buddha statues, they have their own ways of sculpturing. So the short answer is that mother can say whatever she wants to say, but you are the one who is going to do what you are supposed to do. So you have only one mother, right? And then you are going to do the best what you can do to her. Let her have her own version. Yes, that's what we can think about. Sometimes some mothers feel a little bit intimidated by the children's overcaring. Sometimes they may make those statements, but it's okay. You know, they might be cognitively not that good, so we do our best for them. That's how we think about it. Yes, please.
Bhante, just for your confirmation, I heard some time ago that irrespective of how your parents treat you or how badly they treat you, you are still obligated to them. Because in the process of rebirth, when you were just Gandhava, your parents didn't choose you to be born, but you are the one who chose the parent. Is that right? So your parents actually provide the body for you to be born, and you chose them, not the other way around.
Okay, so you are backing up an idea for children. Don't get children mad, because some children will get mad about this thing, Gandhabba. This idea, who is a Gandhabba? They say when we pass away, how do you call in English? Zygote. The zygote is going out. So they say this, when our consciousness departs our body, that means passing away, our consciousness in the form of zygote becomes super genius. It is said. That is how, because at that point of our consciousness which is traversing from this body must find the best body that it deserves. Now we can't think about a lot. Now we only practice Dhamma. We have a certain dimensions, boundaries in our thinking. But when the consciousness departs, consciousness is going to be very super smart, genius, because it has to find out the next body. As you call, this could be the Gandhabba. But we don't believe that interstate, that state is not going to be lasting along. Interlife, it's maybe a split second, nanosecond, maybe even a smaller, minute version of that. So it is going to the life that it deserves. I don't know whether it chooses. Now you said it chooses. We cannot say it chooses. It can go to a place which it deserves. Right? Now say for instance, there is a blind family. Someone is going to be born into that blind family, becoming a blind person as well. Do you think anybody will pick up this family to be reborn? I don't think so. So what is happening when you pass away is that your accumulation of good karmas always being measured out, matured, and then it can only go to a place that it deserves, not that by selection. So I think that is how we have to understand. It cannot choose. Now say for instance, if you can choose, then why don't we be reborn in a royal family? Why can't we reborn in a heaven if I can choose? So it depends on the strength of your consciousness at that point. But anyways, thank you for thinking a supportive plan for those parents. Yes.
Bhante, there are three questions here. I'll take the single question first. Yeah, how do you practice gratitude to reduce sorrow?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very deep question.
When we are very grateful from morning to evening until we sleep every day, that really reduces the amount of our sorrow. If there is someone, many people in society, when they are not grateful, that means they cannot count on their own blessings, isn't it? They cannot think about how important is my husband, wife, my education, money, my life, my health. If they cannot think about a little bit deeper in their blessings in their life, so they are always thinking about what they don't have at the moment. So they are suffering a lot. They are not happy during the day. So when you have a very good gratitude practice, if you can count on blessings every day, if you can start with those positive vibes, definitely your suffering, your frustration will be cut short in at least 90%, 95%. So that attitude, gratitude attitude must be maintained throughout the day. Now think about some people, they are very good in the morning. Suddenly by 1 o'clock, they are not happy. What happened? I felt I don't have something. What's wrong with you? Somebody told that I don't have something. Maybe somebody talked to that person. This person started thinking about her life, his life by afternoon and thinking that I don't have it. There's a moment of distraction when they could not maintain the gratitude practice. So if you have to continue, maintain, deepen, sustain your gratitude practice, that will definitely cut short your daily dukkha. You are creating your daily dukkha, not that dukkha comes to you. You can cut short a lot of dukkha in that way. So how to do it? You find out your own blessings. How do we know? We can say that you were born, you have a life, you have health, you have access to food, you studied, you have children, and think about all the other blessings you have in your life. Try to think about that. Thinking is also difficult for some people, many people. It's very difficult.
It's a habit that needs to be worked at personally.
Yes.
Nobody can tell you how to do it, but you got to look for excuses to be happy. Too often we find excuses to be unhappy. The glass of water, half full or half empty. It's the same reality. How do you look at it? Creating habits.
It's up to your way of thinking. So it needs a change of your attitude, starting from the morning till the evening.
Yeah, actually, to me, Buddhism is all about transformation. Transforming this state of affairs to something better. And you can only do it by yourself. By a change of mind, attitude. How you look at things. Oh no, I'm not so.
I would add another small
Bosses walk. Right.
I would add another small story.
Yeah.
There's a Jataka story where there is a king who really wants to invade other states in India. So Bodhisattva tricked him. What Bodhisattva in that life did was, he came to the palace, he came to the entry gate of the palace, he said to the people, the forces there, I want to tell a secret to the king. Then they asked, what is your secret? No, I want to tell it to the king. So he went to the king's chamber. Then he said, dear king, there are 3 states you can easily take over. So the king was so greedy about the state, he didn't ask where are these states located. And then he left. So ever since that day, he got sick. The king was sick. He's now
worrying about that.
Yes, thinking about where are these 3 states now. Doctors are asking, where are they? I could not ask from that man. Then Bodhisattva again appeared. They said, it's because of your compulsive thoughts to take over other states. Right? So when people are telling these things to us, especially opportunities, threats, weaknesses, strengths to us, we have to carefully understand. Because I think not even this is a self-motivation. I think we have to be careful with the people we are surrounded by. They are the people who can change us. Let's say we start the day with super nice attitude, thanking everybody. Then somebody picks up the phone and calling you on WhatsApp, sending you a message about something, right? So we have to know who to associate, how to acknowledge, whether to probably go away from these people, whether to ignore those messages, just see but not labeling them. So you have to have a very good, interesting Kalyana Mitras around you to keep your positive attitudes keep going actually. That's also very important because this cannot be done only by the individual. You need the supportive system around you.
Kalyana Mitras.
Kalyana Mitras.
Yes.
Otherwise, Papa Mitras come and stir up the problem again. Yeah? They say you don't have blessings today.
Right.
You are such a wretched person. You are a miserable person. And they are bringing. Yeah. Now say for instance, somebody told me in his family, they want to see that their son is going to be married, but he is associating a bunch of other guys who had bad marriages. So he's going to drink with them, he's going to be with those people. They are always talking, what is the marriage? Don't marry, see what happened to us. You don't get the blessing out of it. So he also thinks, Father, see, I see in my own eyes what happened to 6, 7, 8 guys in my friend circle. Their family has been very rocky. So I don't need to as well. Yeah. That means you can't
so what he saw, he decided.
Yes, he thinks the same thing will happen. That means it's very important to have a very good set of Kalyana Mitra who can really see the true world, who can really understand.
Sigalova Sutra tells you how to find those friends.
Yes.
What to look for in friends. Okay? Bhante, you shared that all human beings are ungrateful by default. May I ask why you say so? Did the Buddha say so too?
I think you should not take it very seriously. It's not that we are labeling every human being is very ungrateful. What I was trying to say is that
natural tendency.
let's take it from the akusala side. Are you by default a kusala person or akusala person? Tell me. Are you by default, by birth, very wholesome or unwholesome? Or you are by effort a kusala person at the moment? Yeah, by default, we have lots of akusalas. So I try to bring this to this idea. I'm saying that we don't know a lot of teachings about gratitude. That's why I said that we don't have a proper attitude about gratitude when we were born. So we had to learn it by effort. That is how I said like that. Otherwise, don't take that we all are ungrateful beings, right? It's not how you have to understand that.
But the very fact that we are born into samsara is already by default. We are not doing the right thing. That's why we have to work to transform, to reverse that forward-going movement through samsara, reverse it and turn towards nirvana.
Yeah. And so the person is asking, did the Buddha say that? Yes. Because Buddha said we are by default akusala people.
Yeah.
But we don't say like in Christianity, you are sinners. You must get the grace of the God.
Yeah.
We say that we are by default struggling with akusala. Who got the wholesome states while they were born?
Yeah.
Nobody. Right?
The fact that you are born means that you had an unwholesome state. That's samsara. Only arahants are clear. Wouldn't it be right to say that we human beings are born pure? We are back in that same thing. That we are born pure. Are we born pure? We are conditioned by our parents, family, friends and society. One more one. We are born pure and then we learn how to be bad. Or we are born bad and we have to be beaten into goodness. Which one?
No, I would delineate that question this way. We are not born pure. We are born with a pure mind.
Okay. Please explain that in the...
They say, Pabassara midam bhikkave chittang. The mind is luminous, radiant by birth. Tanchako agantukehi upakkilesehi upakkilettam. But as we live in this society, external tendencies, akusalas come and
society pollutes us.
Pollute that luminous, radiant mind. So we are not born pure. We are born with a pure mind, but we are conditioning that pure mind as we age.
And that's why we need the effort to maintain that purity.
Yes, then we are going to again decondition that. Because, say for instance, as you age, you have more sanya. When you age more and more, you have a lot of sanyas. You know a lot of things, memories. You have a lot of memories, events, right?
Yeah.
So that's why if you see an infant, a baby doesn't have that many sanya at that point. But I normally share another story at that point. I ask people about the sila practice with regard to a baby. What do you think about the 3 months old baby? Does that baby, 3 months old baby, kill other people? No idea about killing.
No.
Does that 3 months old baby steal other people's stuff? No idea at all. Does that 3 months old baby sexually misconduct? No idea about what is that. Does that 3 months old baby lie? Babies are not lying, children.
Yeah.
You can see that they are lying. Does that 3 months old baby have anything like taking intoxications? No. Then why don't you call the 3 months old baby the super sila person? Then baby should be very sila. Baby should have a lot of sila, right? Discipline than you. According to Buddhism, baby doesn't have sila that way. It is the intentional avoidance of the wrong side of the sila which will make you a sila person. Why you are not killing? You know that is unwholesome to you and to other people. Why you are not stealing? Because you know that is unwholesome for you and to other people. Why you are not sexually misconducting? You know that it is not good to step over to other people's relationship, steal other people's husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, and unwholesome. And you know that lying is unwholesome to you, and people getting cheated, they're getting misled. And you know that by being intoxicated, you don't have the sound mind, your judgment will be diluted, and other people will be affected. With this understanding, if someone is going to avoid the wrong side of the sealer, then only that person will become a sealer person. So I'm going back to that example. Were we born pure? No, we were born with a pure mind like the baby. But baby had a lot of sanyas in the past life.
We didn't make the effort to.
In this life itself. I mean, baby has a lot of sanya that the baby is bringing from past life. But those sanyas cannot bloom because baby has not spent enough lifetime here. So, we were born with a pure mind, but as we age, that pure mind will be polluted unless you do things by effort.
That's where the Noble Eightfold Path
Comes in.
Last question is, ungrateful or ingratitude is by default or by being conditioned? I think you just answered that.
Answered.
Yeah? Are we ungrateful by default? Meaning that we are born, what to do lah, I'm ungrateful, too bad. Okay? Either that or, hey, there are tendencies in me to be ungrateful. What do I do to counteract that? The what do I do is what this is all about. Where we learn, where we practice, we come to retreats, we learn why and we learn how. And we are with Kalyana Mitras to practice it.
The reason why I said that we are bornly not having a very good attitude towards gratitude because we are not properly learning gratitude at that time. So we have lots of what you call raga, avijja, ditti, imana, these akusalas, right? Rather we say that you are bornly ungrateful, I would say that you didn't have a good understanding about gratitude when you were born. So by effort, when you are learning, practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, only you have that understanding. So otherwise don't get stuck in the words that you were born ungrateful. So what I was trying to say is that when we were born, we didn't have that understanding. That means we could operate, function in a way, we could be ungrateful to others. That's why when children are fighting each other, parents are telling, this is your sibling, you have to be grateful. Isn't it? The parents are teaching their kids, you have to respect your other sister, maybe your brother. They have to teach. So as we age from that luminous mind, radiant mind, we need some instructions to become better people in understanding, practicing gratitude.
Bhante, is ingratitude, akusala?
It is. It is. You could say when you are ungrateful, there are other ancillary akusalas are coming up.
Akusala?
That leads to other bunch of akusalas. When you are ungrateful, then you don't have mudita.
Okay.
The third Brahma Vihara, you don't have it because you don't appreciate. That means you are not appreciating at that point.
So it's right? Akusala, it works against your spiritual practice.
Yes, definitely. When you are not appreciating, you don't appreciate anything in life.
Yeah.
Even the Buddha, even the teachings, right? Even anything else. You will be more materialistic as well at the same time.
Bhante, this has nothing to do with gratitude, but I've always wanted to ask, what is the relationship between akusala and papa?
Interesting.
Because akusala is sin, papa is also sin, but I've never been able to...
Okay. When you look at the suttas, you see punya and kusala, they have been considered as synonymous context in some places, and akusala and papa, they have been synonymously taken. But in some other suttas, they have a very clear stand about the difference. Let me tell you. I would take a dana example. Let's say someone is bringing dana over to the temple to offer to the monks. This person always thinks, I go to the grocery shop. No, I'm calling the vihara. I'm making the appointment for the dana. I go to the grocery shop. I make the food. I bring. I go back. And during all these times, I have to think that my bunch of future package, next life, and all those things. That means you are creating. Yeah, that means expectation package is what this person is always struggling. This means that dana is more towards the punya side, merits. There is no kusala happening. There is no skillful activity in that part. But there is someone who is doing that particular dana activity by thinking, I understand the meritorious part is complementary. When I give dana, it's complementary. Because when you have a complementary benefit, are you going to buy it in addition? Tell me. You want to buy it as an add-on? You don't buy it. It's complementary. Because punya is our, what you call, affective part of the activity. Affective part, feeling part of the activity. So kusala is how much you are going to be skilled in that activity. That means to lower your lobha as much as you can, to lower your dosa as much as you can, lower your moha as much as you can. Then it will become more towards the kusala side. So in order to make that dana a kusala, skillful activity, or in order to make that dana a meritorious activity, punya, it is up to you. Then what is the akusala and papa? Papa is the affective quality of the akusala activity. Now, when you do akusala kamma, you will get papa. Let's say you have become very greedy about what you have. Then the affective quality is papa. But there are people who are creating papas initially as well. I would give you an example from Abhidhamma. That's really interesting. In Abhidhamma, they say there are people who are doing bad things with rationalization, without rationalization. How do I say that? There is someone who is drinking alcohol as a social drink, right? They go and then they know the amount that they are drinking, and then they stop it, come back. But there is another person who is alcoholic. Not even that, on top of that, this person is saying, alcohol is no problem, you guys also have to drink like me, you're going to be a drinking buddy for me, and going to rationalize one's own akusala. So this is going to be akusala with papa. The both activities are happening. You will get a lot of papas, bad karma. At the same time, you are creating lots of akusalas as well. So there are people who make mistakes in their life. There are people who purposely making that wrong activity. So akusala and papa, there is a difference, and kusala and punya, there is a difference. So we encourage all of you to do kusala because you are carrying a punya. Punya is merit. Punya is merit. Kusala is skillful activity. So kusala carries punya as a complementary thing. Just work out on kusala side.
So when you do kusala, you're working towards nirvana, towards arahanta.
Yes.
So that's a path we need to clarify and practice kusala kammas. Whereas akusala kamma goes against that.
Anti-nibbana. Yeah. So when someone is only thinking that dana is only a next life thing, this is more from the punya side. So that person is taking a risk in their sansaric life. This life they do dana, but next life who knows whether she or he can do a dana? Never knows. So dana has to be done with kusala, not with punya, because punya is complementary.
Bhante, I have two questions. The first one is you mentioned about abused children just now. So how do abused children show gratitude to their parents? Or if I can rephrase that again, is it important for abused children to show gratitude to their parents? And my second question is, can you share your thoughts about learning the Dhamma through Abhidhamma versus the sutta? Because some people say you should just touch the sutta only, but some people say you can go to Abhidhamma. I'm confused. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. To answer the first question, you are asking, are those abused children supposed to show appreciation to the parent? It's a little bit difficult emotion, we understand. But as Buddhists, we are number one to forgive other people. We are supposed to forgive others better than other people, right? If you look at other religious traditions, you hardly see forgiving anybody unconditionally. So as Buddhists, we are supposed to keep that in mind. It may be difficult, but we have to. Because forgiving others, in this case parents, initially means forgiving yourself, not others. People don't forgive others thinking that, why do I have to do it for other people? They bullied me. But actually you are forgiving yourself in the first place. That's number one. So let's say there is an abused child from a family. Partly he was or she was blessed by the family. Partly he or she was bullied by the family, abused by the family. In that case, now I understand the child or maybe the son or daughter is not anymore vulnerable to the bullying. The child has become an adult now. He and she, they are independent people now. This is just a past in their life. So what I can say is we have to emotionally heal. That is number one. Number two is, do you think that we have to be good only to the good people that we meet in our life? Tell me. As Buddhists, are we only becoming good to the nice people who are nice to us? Then where is our metta? Where is it? It must be in the books, huh? So we have to practice metta unconditionally. Now in this case, you are struggling, somebody is struggling with the sanya. So now I understand that son or daughter is not a dependent anymore under the parents. He or she has a very nice life now, but still the mind goes back to the memories. So that son or daughter has to heal first. Has to heal. So how to heal? Understand what happened. I cannot change my past. I cannot blame them as well. This is my life. But now I don't need to mess up my next many years that are on the way. Why should I ruin my next many years by thinking about this thing which I cannot change? So we have to change our attitude at that point. Let's say now your question at the end was that how to show appreciation. You might not be able to appreciate them, but you are still in touch with them. If there is something I can do for my parents, I will do it. But I'm not going to think about those things anymore. Because you are not anymore controlling by them. That is how we're going to look at the first question. Second is, I usually advise learn from the first four Nikayas in the Sutta Pitaka. Diga, Majjhima, Sangyutta, Anguttara. You don't have to start from Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma is an overemphasis about the Sutta Pitaka. Let me tell you an interesting story, and I'm not saying Abhidhamma is wrong. In the Sutta Pitaka, Buddha never says, where is the mind? The Buddha said, mind has no place. Durangamang ekachara, asarirang. Mind is bodiless. Where is mind? I have the pain. Let's say I have a pain in my leg. Is mind in my leg? If you have a pain in neck, is my mind is here? So mind should be then omnipotent. But Abhidhamma teaches monks, because at that time it was very easy for them to think about because they were talking in Pali at that time. You thinking, every Pali thing should be from the Buddha. At that time, their conversational language was Pali. It's very easy for them to talk about it. They said, no, mind is somewhere in the body. Very interesting. Where is it? They call that place as Hadaya Vattu. Hadaya Vattu, not in the heart. Because then it is going through another problem. Then when you have a bypass surgery, the doctors are taking the heart out and putting on an artificial thing. They said, no, it's not in the heart. It is associated in the blood that is circulating back and forth in the heart. So now it is okay for the doctors to take it out because still heart has to depend on some blood. So they said consciousness or the mind is exactly somewhere around the blood near the heart. Now, this is Abhidhamma. Buddha never said that in the Sutta Pitaka. So, I think it is more defensive. There are some good things too. Let me talk about something good. That's also, I think, related to your question before. I think with that we can wrap this up. I was one day discussing with a professor about our human life, very related to today. How come there are many human beings, as human beings since daily morning, early morning, are we doing a lot of good karmas or are we doing a lot of bad karmas? Tell me the truth. Since you wake up early morning until you sleep, what are the most thoughts that are coming into you? Are they lobha dosa moha or are they alobha dosa moha? Be honest.
Lobha dosa moha.
Yeah, lobha dosa moha. Then how come these individuals are supposed to be reborn as humans again? Then we come to a conclusion based on the Abhidhamma. In Abhidhamma, they have a separate section about Cetasika. They say, when you do a bad akusala, that akusala is driven by another 4 akusalas. One akusala has another 4 akusalas in that. Let's say you are having lobha now, very greedy about what you have in your life. That akusala brings another 4, or maybe that akusala comes from another 4 akusalas. They are working on the side. Moha, ahirika, anottappa, uddacha. Yes, we are deluded. Every time when we do akusala, we are deluded. We don't see the reality. Right? That's why we are greedy, we are into hatred and all that. Second is that ahirika. We don't have moral fear. Moral shame. We are not morally shameful about what we are going to do. Third is anottappa. We don't have the moral fear. This is not good for me, I'm a good person, why I'm going to make this happen? We don't come up with that idea. Fourth is uddacha, my mind is definitely restless. In every akusala perpetrator's mind during the akusala is always restless, not rest free. So now lobha is happening, dosa is happening, lobha dosa, let's say lobha supported by another 4 akusalas. So then you are making 5 akusalas simultaneously with one akusala according to Abhidhamma. Then we were checking about the kusala side. How many kusalas are happening in one kusala? Let's say you are having dana thought. Dana thought, every kusala state is followed with 19 another kusala states. Then we don't have to worry about why people are becoming humans again. Let's say you have a dana thought. That dana thought is supported by another 19 kusala states. You have a metta thought, loving kindness thought. That loving kindness thought is supported by another 19 kusala. We call them sobhana chetasikas. So that really helps us to understand even one good kusala activity can overcome a lot of problems.
But does each kusala create a separate human being? That means 19 human beings.
No. When you have a kusala state, let's say dana, let's say metta, let's say karuna, mudita, upekka, whenever you have that one kusala state, it is supported by another 19 kusala states.
And how does that translate?
Then 20. One kusala has 20 other, 19 others, so overall 20. Now don't think that we can do akusala because akusala has only 5 and kusala has 20. There's a misunderstanding. So Abhidhamma has that kind of some good stuff as well. But don't start your reading from Abhidhamma, let me tell you, because Sutta is the base.
If I'm not mistaken, just now I heard that, Bhante mentioned that if we do something good, actually we don't think the consequences, is it? What it means that we do, like example, when we do dana, we do not think, what is the benefit of the dana? But my question is, for instance, we have the limited resources. If you want to do dana, definitely we will look for instance, for a monk, or we want to do dana for Mangasaha. It means a lot of sangha. So I have a limited resources, definitely I will do dana for this Maha Sangha because I understood the benefit will be better. I am not so sure because if we, for Sunda also mentioned, if we do the dana for the Sangha, the benefit will be more. So this is my understanding. So I want...
Okay, very, very good question. I didn't say consequences. You shouldn't think about the consequences. Yes, it is a good thing. We initially understand there are consequences. What I was trying to say is that don't create expectations. Expectations and understanding the goodness of the dana, they are two different things. Okay? So, you know that dana is a good thing and it helps me to overcome my lobha. So, those consequences are mandatory to think about. But what if someone thinks, out of this dana, may I become the largest deva in the Tavatinsa heaven? That is a different thing. But even I can tolerate that for someone who is very poor, who doesn't have a good life in this life, who is thinking how to become a good, what you call, happy person. I think we can tolerate about it. It's okay. But for many people, I think we have to teach them the proper way. So that is number one. The second question was about...
what means that, let's say we have the limited resources, definitely we will choose.
We have to choose between.
Choose what?
Choose between with limited,
Yes.
so limited resources.
You mean the recipients.
Yeah, no, me, as I understand it, I have limited resources.
Yeah.
Do I choose between giving it to a chief monk or do I give it to somebody hungry beggar outside?
Yeah.
These are maybe not so much.
No, I don't think Buddhism has a obligation, maybe certain rule that you have to select. You should not select your donis. I mean your what do you call your recipients. So that's up to you. It's
the purity
that's
of
up
mind.
to you. Yeah, you can purify your mind in whatever the activity. You may go for it. There is nothing that you must pick up this person, that person.
We are not mistaken because I heard from some of the Bhante mentioned there is a different level. If we donate to the Arahant, the benefit will be different. We donate, so that's why what I understood. Okay, because I got different. Bhante will tell different thing. So some of the what it means that the temple, let's say the temple in the Thai temple, they mentioned that okay, now we have this activity, we'll donate for this 1,000 Manga Sangha. So the benefit will be better. So it's limited. Okay, let's say the local also 10 monks. So I will definitely will choose for the best.
Yeah. Okay.
This is what I question.
Yeah, very good question. When different speakers talk different things, Buddha told you to find the way out. What was the way out? In the Kalama Sutta. In the Kalama Sutta, people in the Kesaputta Dhamma, Kalamas told the Buddha, there are different monks coming to our Kesaputta, they are talking different things and then they go, are you the same person? Yeah. The Buddha said, I am not that same person. He said, you have to decide by understanding what is kusala, what is akusala. So everything what we are talking here, we are asking you to check the sources. They have proof, so you have to go check all these texts. If not, you can approach us. Let me tell you, there is a sutta called Velama Sutta. Velama Sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya. In that we see a certain stratification of the donations. They say, if you give to a dog, an animal, you get 100,000 life benefits out of that dana. Let's say you feed a dog, that good karma follows you for 100,000 life. Okay? But if you give to an immoral person, immoral human, the result is much more than that because that is an animal, this is a human but immoral. If you give to a moral person, the result is more than the other two. If you go to a Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahant, it goes up in terms of the result. And if you give to a Pacheka Buddha, Samma Sambuddha, also it is going up. But interestingly, it says that if you practice loving kindness for a moment, it is better than all these. If you practice anicca for a moment, it's better than all this. What I am trying to tell is, this is not the way you should practice Dhamma. This is a certain stratification. Because we should not practice Dana by looking at the benefit package.
Yeah.
This is not an insurance. Right? What is this? I think this cheapens, demeans our Dana practice. Right? It is not you are poor. It demeans us. My suggestion for you is that try to make every moment an opportunity to be generous. That's it. Be that a Sangha, be that a Buddha, be that chief monk, be that whoever, you are going to be generous to everybody. You are practicing well.
And the more you do it, the more you destroy your ego. That is the point.
Yes.
The personal.
If you look up them,
the lower.
if you look up those people, ego can go high as well.
Yeah.
Because you want a better dana.
Yeah. And don't go for bonus points. Doesn't apply.
Yes, Samantha, you have a question?
Yeah. Last question,
last
yeah?
question, yeah.
Thank you, Bhante, for this last question chance. Now, this is based on my experience. I think very often when somebody do very good things to us, so we express our gratitude. But however, from my experience, some people don't take kindly to the gratitude that we express. Because what they normally would say, no need to thank me. And I think, I do get a bit disturbed by this, yeah? Why is it that when we express the gratitude, and it's not as if they're not grateful, yeah? They acknowledge, but somehow, they don't want you to say it to them. Huh? No, so I don't know how to respond to that because I do get a bit disturbed by this, yeah? Thank you.
Okay, uncle says they are shy. Okay, but what I can think, yes, you have something to say?
No,
please.
No.
Okay, so what I can say is that now when someone is very thankful, grateful to another person, there are different people who are responding differently. Take it easy, never mind,
yes.
Don't mention it. Like there are certain jargon that is going on.
Yeah.
But I want to see another example with this. Buddha said when somebody is apologizing from you, in the Dhamma things, apologizing from you, if you don't acknowledge the apology, you are going to be a bad person. If we bring that same narrative to this thing, let's say, I'm so thankful, grateful to you. Maybe, as you said, they may be shy. They don't want to be prominent. Some people, they donate without names, nameless dana, all that. So they might probably, let's say they have to understand you as well. There is somebody who we help. We don't want to probably hurt him or her as well, maybe.
Yeah.
That was a small thing, don't worry. Just keep us posted if you want any more help.
Yeah.
I think they can think about if you get offended by that activity. I think there are different people. I think you should look for other people too, whether they say the same thing.
It's also part of our culture. We wouldn't say, wow, you gave me a thank you, okay, apalah, gosongkan lah. It's a way of speaking, but you have to look at the body language. Yeah, how you express yourself. But the important thing is the graciousness with which you accept or you reject something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, are we all grateful to Bhante?
To everybody. All right.
Thank you, Bhante.
Uncle, do you want to say something? Conclude?
Just to say that, it's a very meaningful session, I think. I didn't see anyone going off to sleep. That's partly because my eyesight is not very good. But Bhante, thank you very much. I felt the questions were very searching and I thought the answers were very appropriate, and I'm really very grateful. I learned a lot, and I'm sure you did too. And so all of us would like to say sadhu to Bhante, sadhu for this opportunity that we had.
Yeah.
And maybe you can
At the same
say a
time, Uncle,
few
thank you
things.
for coming over. And this was an overdue dialogue session, and I said the Vihara that I can invite, I can ask Vihara to invite you because of my timing issue. And thank you for coming over. And then we had a very interesting session in January about Dana.
Dana, yes.
And we had our first
Now
discussion
sketch
at
it.
BGF, which he himself called that he was embarrassed about. But anyways, very thankful to you, grateful at the same time. So we will do a little bit of sharing. And then we will take a picture at the end as we have.
Yeah.
May all the good karmas which we make in today, especially in this dialogue session by discussing about gratitude, katanyuta, through the Uncle Vijaya's version and then through our version, understanding your questions and then looking at gratitude practice as a practice that does not happen automatically, which we need to make it in our life. It is a practice that goes in a very structured way, which we need to make it in our life. May all these good karmas which we be making so far be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And we wish you longevity with quality of life and all the good things. May you be able to spread the Dhamma message far and wide, as we heard in the introduction, all the time.
And you too, Bhante, we hope you all the best of health, and we hope you can continue this fantastic work that you are doing globally for the sake of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. We are privileged to have met you.
Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.